Well,
All right, we're good to go. All right, so I just want to first give a special introduction to Theresa. And we say your last name, Toia?
yes.
Okay, Theresa Toia. I was introduced to Theresa through Elaine, and Elaine connected to Friends of Foster. Elaine, you want to share how you connected?
Yeah, through my book club. Gosh, was it over a year ago now? We donate every year, every summer to something. We collect money and we choose a charity and donate. And I don't know, Theresa, did Claudia approach you? Was it Claudia that you knew?
Yes, Claudia and I are, we golf together.
So,
and she learned of the nonprofit, yes.
Yeah, so that's how we met. And I was so impressed with the facility. One of my first thoughts was, these older kids need quilts. So I pitched the project and it took off. Well, COVID helped because everybody was stuck in their sewing room. But yeah, it was a great project. I'm very happy with the result.
Yeah, over 60 quilts, right?
70 now. Someone just gave me one, Theresa, so I will drop it off this week.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I have one of my dedicated volunteers actually searching through the quilts and locating ones that are the child's favorite color or has whatever theme. Yeah.
That's great. The group will be glad to hear that. Awesome.
It's almost as though you've made one for each individual child. So bless you guys for that.
Great. Glad to hear.
So Theresa, I'll let you take it away. I gave Theresa a couple of ideas and questions and things that we are curious about. Obviously, we want to learn about Friends of Foster, but you have a great amount of knowledge just about foster care in general. And this month, our congregation has been focusing on issues around foster care, and we've been trying to raise awareness, and certainly we've been praying in worship and in our groups for every aspect of this whole of foster children and their support, and for agencies like yours. So we're thankful to have you here, and I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. Well, I, first of all, have been married to my husband for 47 years, 48 this year. We have two daughters, and one is I'm sorry, she's a technician that does dialysis. And the other is the older child that started out as a foster care caseworker. And back during the economic downturn is when this whole thing began, because she came to me after Christmas and told me this was the second year in a row that the children on her caseload did not receive anything at Christmas. And I was stunned. It took me back, and I said, that can't happen. And she said, what are you going to do? Buy them all a gift? And I said, no, I have many generous friends that would gladly take a child's wish list and build them a Christmas. One gift is not a Christmas. So the following year, I asked her for information, or as much as I could be given, because the children are protected. So we have built it a Christmas for 47 children that first year. And after dropping off, I learned that that is not all the children in foster care. I was very naive and taken back at the same time. And so we decided to move forward and continue to do all of the children at Christmas. I didn't want anyone to go without a Christmas. So my friends took one or two or four or whatever they could handle and built them a Christmas. And that's how we all began. They did spectacular things like bikes with little license plates with individual names and so forth on there. It's really a wonderful, wonderful event program, and it impacts the lives of so many children in so many ways. So as we moved on year after year, we learned of gaps of unmet needs. For an example, when children come into care, they have immediate needs. So we didn't know that children were in immediate need of shoes or coats or boots or underwear, or depending on what their situations are. So we fulfill those needs. And our organization, I should have prefaced with, we are a 100% volunteer organization. So it truly takes the hands of many angels to get this done. The saying, it takes a village, it truly takes a village. And my best ideas come from our volunteers. So every year we change things and become more effective. And taking care of the children in immediate needs, they came up with our emergency response team, ERT team, we call them. And if we don't have those items at our center in stock, they immediately go out shopping for them to be able to provide those immediate needs. We started a graduate program years back, and that was kind of right away. I learned right away when we began that the older children are the ones who need us the most. And although everyone wants to help a young one, understandably, it's the older ones that it impacts the most, because they really believe they're forgotten, that no one cares. And I have heard time and time again from them, you made me know I matter. Oh my goodness, of course they matter. So it's those that have been affected most by post-traumatic stress syndrome. They're 2 times more likely than a veteran actually to suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome because of the violence that they felt and in their youth. So it not only impacts their life, but through their brain development, their emotional skills. Many of the children, if you meet them later in life, you'll find that they don't have eye contact with you. They look down always. So they really have an issue with connecting, and connecting is what's going to save them and pull them into a successful life growing and moving forward. Our graduate program, unfortunately, the last 2 years, we haven't been able to host a dinner for them. We usually host a dinner. We recruit local businesses to become table sponsors. That helps us not only to defray the cost of the dinner, which you would be stunned to know that many of them have never had a sit-down dinner like that and be served all those courses, and they say, there's more food, there's more food. They just can't believe when it keeps coming out. But the job opportunities that these businesses step up and they come to this event with are stunning. They know already that they're dealing with foster children who have not been able to shadow parents like you and me and witness a good work ethic. So these kids need a lot of coaching and they need a lot of understanding, and mainly they need a lot of love. There is nothing consistent in their life, and so it's very difficult for them to grasp all the different things that we think are basic things because we learned it from our parents or shadowing our parents. But at these events, they learn of different job opportunities because their exposure is very limited. And so they don't even know that those opportunities are available to them. So at the event, each one of these businesses will step up and announce what it takes to get a job there, if they will do on-the-job training, and they provide all of that for the kids. So along with being that mini job fair, we have their items at the event or that they can pick up after the event. At graduation time, what I'm speaking of are their items that the caseworker will sit down with them and they'll fill out living needs, and if they have any educational or occupational needs. So if they're going into culinary, they're asking for a chef coat, maybe some culinary knives that they require for that, for those courses in that field of study. Or if they're going into nursing, it's scrubs and shoes and a stethoscope. If they're going into construction, it's a tool belt, specific tools that they need, steel-toed boots, those types of things. And then along with any living needs. Because remember, they're all moving into independent living, whether they're moving into college and dorm living to moving into an apartment on their own or a house that they're renting or even a group home environment. So you're talking small refrigerators, microwave, dishes, pots and pans, a futon to sit or sleep on, dressers, or they ask for containers to be able to transport and store their belongings. So, and don't forget about the hygiene products, the sheets, the silverware, you know, towels and washcloths. Let me think. So along with having the award this year, we have because we aren't able to host that dinner again this year, we have the county directors going to stay out by our center, and they're going to congratulate them, give them a box lunch, and be able to pick up all their belongings. So that's kind of nice, just to acknowledge their achievements, because that's so important to them. As far as help, we are always looking for help, because we provide laptops in their high school years to them, any electronics that they may need. We're their only avenue for getting that. And let me preface by saying, if you think about all the different organizations out there, they are based around the family as a foundation. And whether it's FAN for Families Against Narcotics, to autism, all these children have families, and then extended families, and then friends, and so on to build that from. With foster children, they have no one to build from. We are it. You're it. The angels that step up from the community and make this all happen, because it's very important that we help our children. They're our future. And to know the staggering statistics that are out there for foster kids, it's just stunning. There are more boys in foster care, and it's very close. It's 52% versus 48%. 44% of the children in foster care are white, 23 African American, 21% Hispanic, so, and then Asian and other, Indian. 26% of the children entering foster care are under the age of 1. And that is due to the opioid addiction that's out there. And children are removed at birth and are immediately placed into foster care. The dilemma that they have with that are not only that they have many babies that are coming into care, but children are actually being raised in foster care, because above age 13, 22% of these children are counseled in permanency at 12 years old, meaning they may never find a permanent home environment. That's awful. So that means they'll never know what that love is like from a parent. And there is nothing stable in their life. Most children, I think the average is 9 times that they are moved while they're in foster care. They can be moved so many more times. I know a girl that was moved 9 times just in her high school career of 4 years. And it's not local. She can't keep friends because you're in Flint, you're in Wayne County, you're in Saginaw, you're in Port Huron. That's just the one girl. So, I mean, none of those environments you hold on to anything. And then the caseworkers, there's such a turnover because of the stress involved, the high numbers of caseload that you carry, and just the trauma of it all. And when you're dealing with children, it's very, very disturbing. So I don't know how they cope with what they do. And those are the people that are in the trenches, and they are the conduit between us and the child. So we look to them we don't mind making them look like the heroes when they're delivering our big bags of gifts at Christmas or a graduate's belongings. They should look like the hero because they're the ones that are in the trenches for them and with them every day. So we try to do as much as we can to support them, of course. The graduates and the ones that age out of the system are the ones that I like to make sure we support the most. And I can tell you that Elaine and her book club offered, they did some fundraising and they gave us $2,500, which awarded 5 scholarship opportunities for the children. And that was wonderful. So last year and this year, I know, applaud. She deserves it. Yay. It's such a wonderful thing because these kids are just truly taken back when they see this is all for me. This is for me. You're supporting me. They just don't believe it. So every little thing that you do is very much appreciated. I know that each older child that I've ever supported, if they have a younger sibling or they're in care with younger individuals in a home environment, they have a tendency to take them under their wing because they don't want them to suffer the way that they have, or they don't want them to encounter all the hurdles or all of the obstacles that they've had to endure. And they will do everything in support of those kids to try to make it easier and their life easier because they've lived it. So they know foster care is tough for these kids, and not all of them are even in a foster home. Knowing that in Macomb County alone, we have over 700 foster children, and there are only 141 licensed foster homes. So many of them are placed in shelters. They're placed in group environments, in facilities, which are run, you have to remember these are victims of abuse. And they are placed in an environment like a juvenile delinquent. And so they need to earn the right to wear lip gloss or wear something beyond jeans and a sweatshirt. It's awful. I know my daughter never wanted to place the children in a facility or in those children's villages and group homes because of, they count the squares of toilet paper that you use. It's very rigid, and it's not fair to the children who are already victims of abuse. The counseling and foster homes, many of them are wonderful people, and many are not. Many, the exposure that they have is almost worse than the environment they've been removed from. And so what do the children learn? So this is why my goal is to keep building this community support to be able to provide to the counties at the county level to help these kids that want to move forward. They struggle to succeed in life. And these graduates, everything that they've had to overcome, all the hurdles, all the obstacles, and they, in spite of it all, can qualify to go to college. I say, oh my gosh, they're my hero, right? How do they even do that? So anything that we can do that will support the kids moving forward, we try to make sure that we do. The quilts that your quilting group has put together, like I said, are so much appreciated because each one of them are being individually selected for each graduate, and I love it. I feel like each one was made personally, and I believe strongly in the Holy Spirit because every day I see it happen. There was a young man that's a graduate, and the donor dropped off the child's items. And sometimes they can't get everything the child asked for, but we make sure they get everything they ask for. Because if they're asking for it, they need it. And so we try to get their requests. So he wanted a pair of any kind of Nike tennis shoes. And his feet are a size 15. And you won't believe it, but a pair of size 15 Nike tennis shoes, red. And they were donated. And every day I look up in the sky and say, thank you, Lord. It's unbelievable. So I witness it every day. And it's through the help of volunteers or individuals from the community, because we don't get any grant monies. We pay no salaries. It's truly all powered by the love of volunteers for foster children. So it's a beautiful thing. So I don't know whether I have answered any, we're always looking for volunteers. Please don't ever, and we can use as many hands as we can get to do the organizing of all the donations that come in consistently and keep the center organized. The ladies were able to witness that themselves, so we know what work is involved. So we look forward to seeing faces.
Theresa, what ages volunteer?
We like to have them 16 and over.
Okay.
Yep. We have had some youth groups, 14, 15, and as long as they're coming with adult supervision, that's
Sure.
fine too.
Sure.
Yep.
Good.
Thank you, Dr. You just shared. I was just going to open it up. Yeah, if anyone has questions. Is that you, Heidi? Yeah.
Sure.
Theresa, my name's Heidi.
Hi.
Do you have a particular government agency that you work with that your fosters come from?
Oh, I do. I should have said that in the beginning. We work directly with Department of Health and Human Services. And we also, so all the children are vetted and they're current, and they are children in temporary placement that we service. So we don't duplicate services. And we do it for Macomb, Oakland, and we, about 3 years ago, took on Wayne County because I was able to, Wayne County was desperate for organized support. And we're very organized, but I didn't want to take them on because they are so huge until we had our own location and I could garner the support I needed throughout the year to build up what I needed to be able to help them. And so we started helping all 3 counties now, about 3 years ago. So Department of Health and Human Services, we also partner with the Michigan Youth Initiative. So we help all of the older children that are purchasing a car and their insurance. Yep. So miscellaneous things. We help with rent, so we partner with all of that in the state of Michigan, yeah.
And now you said you don't get grants. Is that because you don't have a grant writer?
Exactly. I'm sure there are monies available to us out there, but that's exactly true, yes. Are you a grant writer?
Amazing. Heidi's an amazing writer. She is our church business administrator, but she handles all of our communication and her writings are on point.
I need your phone number. I need you. We need you. The children need you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this some thought. I am an award-winning writer because
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
in marketing communications, and my client was General Motors and my company, and I would write applications to industry organizations to win awards on behalf of my employer, on behalf of my GM client. So, I mean, I've been doing writing and public relations my entire life. So that's why I was just curious. Because I'm also involved in another nonprofit that caters to 3 to 5 year olds, and I'm putting up a business plan for them. So anyhow, I've just interesting. Yeah, it's something for me to think about and see if I can offer you my assistance.
Oh, that would be wonderful. We service children that are newborn through 20 years old till they age out. Yep. And if they're students, we support them until they're finished with school.
Because there's money out there to be had from angel investors. You just have to know who to target, and you have to be able to communicate your story.
Right.
And so, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Oh, Heidi, I would be honored. That's how we found everybody. We have a CPA. I sat next to this gentleman at a dinner. And so I asked him what he did for a living, and he was a CPA when I first started this organization. And I said, you ever do any pro bono work? And he said, what? And I said, I'm starting a nonprofit and I sure would like a 501c3 designation. And we need a CPA, but we can't really afford to pay anybody. And he said, before I left, he said, here's my card, call me. So you never know who's coming to you. So Heidi, you might be our angel.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Sure.
My name is Marie, and I was a foster parent years and years ago and have adopted children. So I know a little bit about how the system works. The money that is given to a foster family goes totally for that child. Is there any accounting as to whether that money does reach the child, or is that another loophole to this whole thing?
It is. It's another loophole.
Yeah, I would guess, because it would be easy enough you get the check whether you spend it on your own groceries or the child or not. I think what you're doing is fabulous, and it is much needed because, as you said, the children themselves are in families where there's maybe 3 or 4 foster kids. Sometimes there are things that happen within that family dynamics that are hurtful to some of those kids. And they need to know there is a place for them, but especially when they age out. One of the things that has always occurred to me is people my age, I'm in my 70s, can't be foster parents. We're just too old. Who would want a person like us? And we don't have the energy for it. But we can be mentors or grandparent type roles to these kids' lives. Has there been any thought to hooking people up in our age group with a child where we would function somewhat like a grandparent does, occasional cards, notes of encouragement, maybe a gift at a birthday, getting to know the child, that kind of thing?
Boy, Marie, that's a great idea. We could reach out and allow that to happen. Absolutely. Do you feel it would be more beneficial for the older kids or the younger?
I was thinking of the high school and older, or even the ones that are aging out.
Yeah.
We happen to have a former foster child who came back and reached us after she was married and had all kinds of problems. And these kids continue to have problems. It doesn't just end with getting their first job. They make mistakes with who they marry, who they align themselves with. They get into problems with their work. They need sometimes a steadying force. So I think it's the older ones that need this grandparent thing more so than the younger ones.
I'd have to agree.
So it's just an idea that, because we are really at a loss to help, except in ways of money. I mean, I helped make some of those quilts. I'm happy to know that they are reaching out and bringing joy to those kids. Thank you for providing a network of programming so these things can happen.
Yes. Oh, no. And I think it would be a great idea for you to reach out to me, and maybe you could help me put a team of people together to do exactly that with the older children. I would love it.
Elaine probably has your contact information. I'll get it from her. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I would love it.
And we are very grateful for Elaine bringing this program to our attention. It was her book club, but without her, we would not have known this need and had this connection with you. And I'm sorry to be late today. I just didn't watch the clock. You know how that goes. It's called sleep in, goof around. Oh, that's right. I can be on a Zoom call. So whatever you said at the beginning, I missed, but I'm sure it was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Those types of support programs. One person isn't going to think of everything, and that's something that could really evolve into something bigger, because it only
You do
takes
run into the privacy
one
aspect.
adult.
I don't know if you are able to share these kids' names or not. So that would be one of the problems. We did a Wayne State thing where we gave gifts to the kids who were students at Wayne State. It's called Champs. And I wrote in my note with my gift card, I would love to get to know them if they wanted to reach out or have any contact, and gave my contact information. No one called me back, but I worried at the time I was maybe out of line even doing that. So.
No, the older children can give permission to be able to contact. And that's why I'm thinking that this whole idea would work with the older ones. Yep. Because the privacy issues, they can waive themselves because they're older. They're 18, 17, 18, or living on their own. Many of them are already independent living at 16. So, yep, they could do that. That's why that group would be the perfect scenario for what you're speaking of. And I love the idea of being like the grandparent to the child, because it's so important to know. And that girl came back to you for that very reason.
She did.
Because she will always remember what you've done for her. Yeah.
Well, she was desperate for somebody to love her. And that's the problem. They don't feel that they're loved.
Yeah.
And so it is an issue.
Yeah. Thank you, Marie. Yeah. And thank you for being a foster parent, because you walk the walk. That's a big deal. So any other questions?
I have two questions. These
Sure.
are easy questions. Number one, where is your facility located?
That is easy. We're at 39126 Van Dyke, which is 17 Mile in Van Dyke in Sterling Heights.
Mhm.
And we are located directly next door to Burlington Coat Factory. We're in that same strip center, easy to find.
Okay. Do you partner with, or upon occasion, help out or seek help from any other foster helping organizations in your area, like Macomb Foster Closet or something like that?
I think when they first opened, the young lady that opened it, I was so grateful she finally did, because we were stocking up the Foster Closet of Michigan in Farmington Hills. They have a branch in Oakland County, but they did not have a Macomb County. So I think we single-handedly stocked their place from all of our volunteers, because while we accept only new items, they accept gently used, and so many donors donate Nike and North Face, and it's all used, but it's in great shape.
Sure.
So I told them, please be sure to get it to Foster Closet, because if the Foster Closet of Michigan gets it, they'll get it in the hands of some foster youth. Because there are many foster families that shop there with the kids. They don't go out and buy the new clothes. And that's another reason that we are so important, because at Christmas, when they're asking for a North Face jacket or, Timberland boots or, Nike sweatshirt or hoodie, it's because they can't get those things for themselves, and they don't get that name brand stuff. And it's, we're their only means for obtaining those items. So that's why I work so very hard to get those things for them, because they want to be just like the kid they're standing next to.
Yeah,
They're
and
all those things.
and everyone deserves to have dignity,
Right.
why? So why should a foster kid only ever expect to get hand-me-downs? That's, ugh.
I understand completely. My daughter, when I first started this, told me, Mom, please don't handle any used items, because it only solidifies that they're not worthy of receiving anything new.
Sure.
And I said, oh my gosh. I watched a 17-year-old girl, here's a good example, who was in foster care, and she was with a private agency who was picking up one of the caseworkers. She was with one of the caseworkers who were picking up several of the children to deliver at Christmas. So we put everything, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to go on our website, but how it works is we're given that list. I give that list to a donor. The donor brings the items back to us. Then we inventory those items to make sure that they're all the correct size, nothing worse than getting something that doesn't fit at Christmas, and appropriate, age appropriate. I mean, hunters have given a hunting knife to a 10-year-old. Well, maybe their kids are trained with that sort of thing, but I can't give it to a foster child who I don't know what kind of life that they're in or living or where they came from. So we do that. And then everything, if we have anything to add, we add, and it all goes into a giant red Santa bag. So that's what it looks like. It's a nylon cleaner's bag with the drawstring, and it's got a tag that we put on it with that child's name on it, and it's given to the caseworker for delivery. So those bags are all lined up there for them to be able to get. When they are delivering them, all of the caseworkers, we contact them to tell them that these things are ready for delivery, and so they come and pick them up and deliver them to the child. So that's kind of how that all works at Christmas time. So when we are giving them items, we have missing items that we'll put up on a tree so people can help in all different ways. If they don't want to take a whole child's wish list, they can take one item off of that tree that will help us complete that child. So that's kind of a little bit more background on that, how that program all works. But I lost where my train of thought was because I went right off into that other. Did I answer your question?
You're talking about a 17-year-old. You had a story.
Oh, that's it. So she opened, thank you for that. So get me back on track, reel me back in. So she opened her bag there because she said, can I open it in the car? And the caseworker said, yeah. And I said, how about here? And she said, great. And so she opened it up. Now this one I know was made from one of our consistent volunteers, and she always does a hand-tied blanket. So when she opened up that blanket, and this girl's 17 years old, she picked it up and she smelled it and she said, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful and so soft. Can I keep this? And I said, yes, honey, that's yours to keep. So, oh my gosh, I never had so many wrapped gifts in my life because we try to wrap everything individually. She kept pulling gifts out of that bag that were all individually wrapped. So each and everything she said, oh my God, I love this. Oh my gosh. It was just like being at a wedding shower when you're so thrilled to open each one of those little things that you know are going to be yours forever. Mm-hmm. And you could see that all on her face. Everyone needs to experience watching one of these children that are impacted by just that one bag. That's why we make that goal to make it their best Christmas ever, because we don't know where they've been and we don't know where they'll be next year and what type of environment. You'd be shocked to know how many have never experienced a Christmas before. So every little thing makes a difference. And wrapping, all of the wrapping that's done at our center by all of those wonderful volunteers, they're making an impact with each package. It's a beautiful thing.
Great. I think sometimes people forget that in foster care, there's a lot of big boys come into foster care. I like to give clothes for bigger boys because I have grandsons. And so they grow, these boys, pretty fast. So I like to give big boy clothes.
Yep, love it. I have two boys right now that are graduating that are 6'9". Those are tall guys too.
You were saying that you usually have more girls' clothes than boys' clothes in general, right? That's donated?
Always more girls' clothes. Boys' clothes, we're always lacking. From men's small right to men XXX, XXX.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good to know. Yeah.
They're empty. If you walk down our aisleways, you will see clear because you can see through those bins because there is nothing in them. We need to restock. It's awful.
Okay. So if we want to give something like that, do we just come to your center there, to your center?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And I'll give you the 10-cent tour when you come.
Okay. I have a lot of large size clothes that are new in packages that
perfect
be giving away.
Yeah.
Because my husband is not working anymore and they need to go to a good place. So that would be good. Mm-hmm. Like, with long sleeve length and
perfect
extra large type of thing. Would that work?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Anything with the tag and new, we'll find a home for.
Okay.
I've seen those Amazon boxes arrive at your place. People will be shopping and they'll see great deals, or even on Amazon, they'll see great deals and they'll order up a bunch and just have it sent to your place. I think that's awesome.
It is. It is. I'm grateful every day. Yeah, we get a lot of Amazon packages. It's real easy to click and ship. Thank God.
Yeah.
Theresa, I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
one thing I've noticed in just in my short time of knowing you, it's just like your heart really shines through when you talk about your work and your passion. And I can only imagine the hard things that you see and the long, long weeks that you have. Like, what sustains you? What keeps you going in this important work?
Every child that I see that comes into my place, and it's especially at this time, and if anyone wants to volunteer during our graduates pickup times, once you meet one of these children, you will never stop doing what you do, because you know the impact that they're having. And they ask me, can I hug you? Thank you so much. And I tell them, it's not me. I said, yeah, come over here and give me a hug, but it's not me. It's all these beautiful angels that I met in my life that step up and they come here and they help me. Every day my eyes fill with tears when I look around that whole room and I look at all the volunteers that are there helping us organize and do the most menial tasks to make sure that everything is taken care of there. Yep, it's a wonderful thing. Everybody has that beauty and that love and that compassion in their heart. And you're doing it for children. What better reason do you have to step up and volunteer?
Yeah.
They need to experience a little piece of us. We give it, right? Yeah, that's what sustains you.
Are there any more questions for Theresa? I took some notes, Theresa, on some other ways. I know that when we were there, we got to see some of what the volunteers do when they're organizing, but you mentioned a couple other things and I took some notes. We have another newsletter going out to our community with some more information. So I'll be sharing this Zoom call with our community, and also just ways that they can connect with you all. And yeah, thank you, Elaine, for getting us connected to Friends of Foster. And I look forward to continuing to grow this partnership. We just really appreciate what you do. Yeah. Would you be
Good.
okay if we pray for you and your work and the work of Friends of Foster before we close out?
I would love it.
All right, let's pray. Awesome God, we thank you for the presence of the Holy Spirit that we see and know and feel through the work of Friends of Foster. And we thank you for Theresa, for her leadership, for her continued strength to do this important work, for the huge heart that you've given her and compassion. We thank you for the many volunteers that give time and resources and give to Friends of Foster and the important work that it's done. Lord, just empower your church, empower us to continue to find ways to love foster children, to embrace them and help them to know that they are loved not only by others, but by you. So Lord, to strengthen your work and strengthen Theresa as she continues this work, and for all those involved with Friends of Foster. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
I hope to meet you all in person.
Yes, hopefully soon. Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
And fabulous work, Theresa.
Thank you. Nothing without you.
All right.
Okay.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Theresa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.